Welcome to Alchemy Avenue, where we transform in real time, trust the vibe, and grow on purpose. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a reminder that you don't need fixing, just unlocking. Around here, we laugh, we build, we heal, and we elevate, all powered by that deep inner knowing that says, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. You were made for this version of you, so let's expand, let's enjoy it, and let's keep becoming who we already are. Tap in. This is Alchemy Avenue. Welcome back to another amazing and uplifting episode of Alchemy Avenue. Today, we're going to build on Kinetic Grace, the geometry of movement without retraction. Moving in truth without leaving turbulence. Let's build on it. What we're going to dive into today is the rarely force named Kinetic Grace. Don't know if it's a term already. I didn't look it up, but just doing meditation, it came to me. The ability to move with power, presence, and clarity without creating distortion. When you feel empowered and embodied and moving like you do, your field holds more energy, your steps, your words, and your presence become to shape reality at a deeper level. So with being all those things, having the confidence, like I said, the embodiment, the high frequency, the high vibration, you carry more. So the different things that you do, say, think, hold more weight because now you're more conscious of you're starting to get more comfortable of the remembered you. Not something that you're trying to figure out. Now, when you get the moving in this realm and moving in this way, I'm telling you, once you realize your power, now you really got to understand that you have power and the things you do, the things that you move and the way you move holds a lot of weight. So your presence begins to shape reality at a deeper level. This isn't about perfection. I'm not saying be perfect. It's about energetic precision. You're not just ascending, you're stabilizing transfiguration. So you're stabilizing everything. But with that, you still got to be, in my opinion, conscious of what you do and how you do it, because it could create some big waves. What is kinetic grace? Grace redefined, not passive, not soft or tinted, but kinetic. So it's moving. Grace as harmonic motion, not hesitation. Grace as non-reactive propulsion. So non-reactive propulsion is, you're there, but you understand, okay, I can't just react to a situation. I have to be more proactive the way I move and the way I operate. Grace as living geometry, the ability to move without creating a wake of imbalance. You don't take the high road, you become the high road. Again, it's all about embodiment. To me, why this matters and why this, came up for me, and I felt, oh, wow, this would be a great way to, build with the people, because I'm not sure, because I never thought about it this way, and, I had situations that happened, and I was like, oh, wow, so this is what this is. So the reason why this matters is the more energy equals, in a sense, more consequence. Just if you, in my opinion, if you don't use your energy, or if you don't understand the power you have, because again, you are more powerful because now you're starting to remember. And once you start to remember, then you're starting to get more comfortable, or you may not be as comfortable yet. So you may not even really understand fully. You do know you're powerful. You do know how important and amazing you are. You do know that. And then once you start to settle in that and embody that more, you the things that you do, the way that you move and operate are going to be a lot different. For instance, like I had a situation where I was with me and a client and some other people. I was right about the point I was making. However, the person just didn't, they missed the part that I said, and it was even written down on the paper that they sign when they come and check their cars in. So they were upset, or not upset, they were just disagreeing that, hey, this was supposed to be, this much, or why did y'all look at that? Or no, it was, why didn't y'all look at this? And I was asking them, well, I went down everything that was on the appointment, and then also I wrote everything down that we were supposed to look at on the document. So if it was something else, you could have definitely let us know, or, well, I thought she was mentioning that she knew she told us. And again, it's not on the appointment, and everything I wrote down, it wasn't on the paper that you signed. So she was a little upset, and I could have really, ferociously been like, no, you were wrong. That's not right. But I just stood there and just, gently was just letting her know, well, hey, look, next time we'll definitely reiterate what needs to be looked at as far as your vehicle. But at this moment, these are the things that that was on the appointment, and that I reiterated, and I asked you about while you was here, because I even wrote down, I circled, the different things, and I wrote down the additional things that you wanted us to look at that wasn't as far as like a pre-selected option. So I wrote all those things. She had a list of things she wanted us to look at. So I just told her, hey, we'll make sure we'll just go through it thoroughly next time. Boom, boom, boom. But again, I wasn't wrong in this situation. I could have definitely came like a lion. Like, no, you see, this is what we said. This is what you signed, and could have really came at that space, because when I was right, but it was unnecessary, thoroughly unnecessary, because again, with how you move now, how I move now, your my ferociousness is more than, what I'm saying? So now I actually just kind of flipped it, like my light is more as well. So my ferociousness is more, but also my light and the way I can kindly handle somebody is more as well. So I don't have to necessarily be right in the sense that I have to prove and bang, 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 bang my point every time. However, I'm still going to stand up for what I know, and I'm still stand up for myself. So I don't have to, I don't need to, come and have a real, heaviness about me being right, in this situation. Not saying there's not situations where I may need to, but you got to understand, doing that, the type of waves and the different things you create by being you and being just being the embodied person you are. That power is definitely, people feel it, and they know, they may not know what it is, but they know it's something. They definitely know it's something. As your vibration increases, every moment, every movement, every moment carries greater ripple effects. Without grounding in grace, so this is, to me, this is a important part of you understanding who you are, and understand the things about yourself that can take you to places of maybe frustration, or the ego where it wants to lash or wants to do tick for tack. This is where you got to know yourself, because like I know me. I know I know, if, like I said, if I'm right about something, or even if I know like, oh, that's not how it went, I know me, I could definitely be very condescending and really, flip it in a way that it don't need to be flipped. So I know that about myself, and I can do it very easy, like very easily. So I tend to just, chill, what I'm saying? Cause I don't want people to feel away, what I'm saying? Because of course, the situation, and even if I'm wrong too, I can say, okay, boom, we didn't do this, or I didn't do this. So I could definitely do that. So without grounding though, you will speak with force instead of frequency. You'll react instead of respond. See, that's what I could have did. And there's a lot of other situations, but just that situation happened recently, and then just doing meditation and just what really came to me was like, whenever we get to these spaces where we are, we feel empowered and we feel embodied, like what is that we're doing? Like I know my question was, are we lessening ourselves whenever we have this embodiment and we're starting to walk with more power? And then that's when Kinetic Grace and that sentiment came to me. It's like, wow, okay, that's very interesting, because I don't want to feel like I'm lowering my or shrinking to be around people or not say what I'm gonna say. No, there's still a way to do it though. There's definitely still a way to do it, because you don't want to have the bodies on the floor after you get done just because you can. and again, that's it could be hard for some people to get into this power and get into this space and then not do that, because again, you don't want people to play with you, but then you gotta still, because you still want to be good with how you move and how you operate. So that's for me, that's definitely, I have to be conscious of how I move in that regard, because again, I don't want to leave the bodies on the floor, because I don't, and I don't have to. I don't have to. I'm not really in a lot of those situations where I have to, be like that, be, real ferocious or real, just, mean or just, just in that way, just real like, yo, nah, this is not gonna happen this way. Or, what I'm saying? I don't have to do it in that regard a lot, but I still have to do it. So you'll create change that burns instead of builds. That part. That's what I'm saying. So whenever you you deal with situations and deal with people, you burn them. I mean, you come in with so much fire and velocity that they ain't nothing. They ain't nothing they can even say or do. Every situation doesn't have to be like that, in my opinion. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Kinetic Grace ensures your movement is clean, that your presence isn't just powerful, it's integrative. So you just, you're harmonizing each situation, harmonizing and balancing each situation. Again, I'm not saying you're a pushover. I'm not saying that you should, you should shrink. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about not doing that, but just being conscious of how you move and how you handle situations, because you don't want to go back and say, man, I shouldn't have done that. And even if you get yourself in a place where there's a thin line where we're starting good, and then you just went, okay. I mean, again, we're all growing and expanding. And sometimes people or situations they keep coming at you, or they keep just happening. And it just, you got to make a decision. Either I'm going to just chill, or I'm really going to have to be the one to say what I'm going to say, and say it the way I want to say it. That may be what you need to do. Again, it's about understanding. It's about understanding. You want to create the change. You want to create the solution that doesn't burn, that doesn't burn the whole house down. It doesn't burn everybody around. What it looks like in your daily life. So let's talk about some different, situations and different things. So what it looks like in daily life, someone lashes out at you. What do you do? How do you handle that? And then a lot of times too, it depends on who it is. Work, associates may be different than like your wife or your husband or, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or even your kids, or your other family members. How do you handle when someone lashes out at you? You know what I mean? So being able to, again, be in a space where it doesn't matter who it is, you're still the common denominator, and you take you everywhere you go. So how do you handle that situation with Kinetic Grace? How do you handle it and still be good with you? Being proud of you whenever you handle a situation when someone does lash out. How do you handle that? The old you would mirror it, defend, correct, or shut down. A lot of us, especially, empathic people, will try to defend, or we'll try to make people understand our point of view, or we'll try to correct it, saying, well, that's not right, or, whatever. Or we'll just shut down. And I know about that shutting down. And then just trying to, like I said, defend and correct. You're trying to over explain what you meant, and just instead just being able to say, okay, all right, how do I really need to handle this? So it's just different ways to go about, moving. And again, you have to know if you want to mirror the situation, if it's beneficial for you to mirror it, or how do you need to go about doing it. That's what the old you would have done. You would have mirrored it back, come from where you need to come from. Again, that's why it's good to know you. It's good to have a great relationship with you, so you will know exactly, how do I need to harmonize this for me? How do I need to balance this situation? New you, still, calm, and present. I mean, just having that space and that mind of clarity and a soundness to be able to say, stay calm, stay still, and present. Again, it takes time. It takes time. And again, to me, it also is easier depending on who it is that you're dealing with, whatever this conflict or whatever this is. It could be easier with, people that are not as close to you. Not dismissing it, but not leaking energy either. Right. So you don't want to, dismiss how you feel, but you don't want to leak as well. You don't want to leak your energy, waste your energy. Not waste, I ain't gonna say waste, but you don't want to leak it to something that is not going to be beneficial. You move, but you didn't carry distortion with you. That is kinetic grace in motion. You moved, you acted, you did whatever you needed to do, but you didn't carry distortion with you. And then also distortion can be too, even though you could have done what you could have done or could have said, and you could have really gave them a business, and you didn't. And then your mind says, man, you tripping. You you should have gave it to him. I should have, just trying to overcome that in your mind. Cause your mind will say, oh, you need to give it to him. But if you know, okay, I don't need them to come at it like that. That's the hack right there. That's the way you need to move. That's the way you need to go. Because you don't want to leak energy, and also you don't want to burn. You don't want to burn. Like I said, you don't want to burn the house down. You don't. And you don't. It's one thing to do it and you like, yo, this is what I need to do, and that's how you felt. But it's one thing to know that I don't need to do it, but you still do it, and then you're going to be feeling like, man, I shouldn't have done it like that. I should not have, even though I was right, I should not have done that like that. Cultivating kinetic grace. Track your residue. Track your residue. Did I leave peace or pressure behind me? And and you may say to yourself, when I said, did I leave peace or pressure behind me? You may say, oh, they don't deserve my peace. That is a thing you may say. They did not deserve my peace. You may say that. But again, understanding who you are and understanding the different things about yourself. Did you really need to, do that? Did you really need to land that plane that hard with that much turbulence? Just a thought. Feel before you speak. What field am I about to cast with this word? And that's one thing too. I clearly now understand is that, especially with this question, feel before you speak. What field am I about to cast? Because you're actually changing the vibration and changing the field that you all are in with, how you may react and respond and just who you are naturally. So if at one point, you was fight or flight, but now you're in a better space where stillness, calmness, and, having a sound and clear mind is your new norm, then be that, because you do see how and especially if you pay attention, you do see how you move does set the tone, set the temperature, change the temperature in situations. So being able to care enough about how you feel, because how you feel is important, is very, very important, very important. But again, understanding how to harmonize and balance your feelings and what's your normal state, what's your default now. Again, you may have been at a different space as far as your default feelings and default, vibration. But where are you at now? And are you at a better space? And if you are, cool. You just can there's always work to do. Always work to do. However, if you still at a space where you don't want to be, continue to work on this. It's one step at a time. Definitely don't beat yourself up. And that's but again, you still got to understand who you are. And again, if you are a person that's like a flamethrower, then you're going to have to find that space where you can definitely sit back and just, okay, do I need to do this? And then how do I do it? It's also important. Move from inner coherence. Action from clarity, not compulsion. Always lands clean. Again, this is what we just talked about. Being able to know yourself and having a sound mind and a clear mind. So now you better actions from clarity. So once you're able to do that, oh yeah. Once you're able to do that, it just moves. The way that things shift and open up for you is way different. Mirror phrase for this alignment. I don't walk with force. I walk with geometry. I move with codes, not conditions. My path is clean, not because it's easy, but because I carry no distortion. This is not just poise, it's precision, presence. Precision, presence. So how are you with any situation? Are you standing there with precision, or are you a little, doubtful in your presence? And that's one thing too that we don't recognize. At least for me, I didn't recognize that your presence holds weight. It holds a lot. It holds a lot of weight, especially just naturally. You hold a lot of weight. But then once you start to understand and cultivate who you are, oh man, it's like you remember now. Oh, I remember now. It's not that you're finding out something that you wasn't and now you are. No, you're remembering. You are remembering. Okay, I am infinite. So now the way I move, my presence is definitely, something that's impactful. So now you're starting to remember that, and being able to understand that this is not just, something that you just come here just to, lightly move through. No. You're heavy. You have weight. You have a presence about you that people don't even understand at times. And that may be why they may react to you, because they don't understand why they feel or why what changed, because you're here. You just walked in, or, you're in a situation. So they may not understand how to handle you or how to go about just, being in the same space with you. Some people they don't know, and you can't necessarily fault them, because if they haven't worked on themselves or haven't done anything to, help themselves be better, then, you just got to be the tone setter. And, I know you're going to say, or you may think, why it always has to be me. I get it. Because that may be what you've been here to do. Why it always has to be you, because you are the person. You are the being, the embodied person. You started this, and now this is just part of, growth, development, and expansion, to be able to move around different types of people. And, some people you may be close with, some people you may not be as close with. It may be a one-time interaction. So, like, for instance, I was saying it's a local smoothie place. I came there around lunchtime. It's busy. So I got on, because I work at an auto shop. I'm a manager at an auto shop, and I had my, work stuff on, but it was two other guys from like another local shop. I was standing in line. This lady, her son came in and kind of got in front of me. And so the line was moving a little bit. She kind of moved, and I was like, well, I'm going to go right here, because I was here before you. And she was like, oh, I know. You ain't had to say that. I know you with them. And I was just looking at her, and I was like, I'm not with them. But I was just, it's not a big deal, though, And then but see, this is where I know me. I start smiling, because I'm a smile. But then I know me once I get in those situations, because it don't make no sense why she got an attitude with me. I don't know what her day was like, but then I'm going to start laughing. So I almost started laughing, but I said, no, I just kept smiling. And I just, I stayed where I was at. Even if she was tripping and the line got up there, I would have just let her go, be honest with you, because it ain't really that serious for me. It's really not. But she got so mad and kept getting madder. And then next thing you know, she's cussing, moving all crazy. And then she just kicked the door open and told her son, let's go. Let's effing go. And then I was just looking at her like, okay, I don't really know what happened. But again, I could have definitely handled that situation a lot different, because I ain't do nothing wrong. I was just in line chilling. So understanding, your power and understanding your presence. Like, I don't know what aggravated her or what happened, but I do know that my response to the situation definitely, I don't know if I escalated or de-escalated the situation, because again, I just smiled. I didn't laugh, because I know if I would have started laughing, it would have made her mad. Definitely made her mad. So I was just smiling, chilling, and I don't know. But that's just an example of your presence and who you are and who you embody, how that can shift, the landscape of different situations and shift the field, and, how people move and operate and how you move and operate. Feel before you speak. Move from inner coherence. Those are some wonderful things, like some wonderful, additions to add into this kinetic grace. let's revisit Kinetic Grace to land it, and make it, and make it more understandable and just easy, kind of just to take away from this particular conversation. Now that your field holds more, the stakes shift. You are no longer trying to do better. You are entraining the room. That's what I mean by your field, and you are, affecting the field. You are entraining the room, entraining people how to conduct themselves around you. Let's make it even clearer. Kinetic grace means you have power, but you don't need to prove it. You feel more, but you don't react to everything, because you don't have to react to everything. You can let things, okay, gotta let them do what they do. You lead. You don't have to be right. You're a vessel for velocity, but you choose when and how you pour. People lean on you, not because you're being used, but because you're stable. And I like to say this. I like to say, I don't mind being helpful. I don't mind being used, but you're just not going to misuse me. You're not. I don't mind being in a space where I can be helpful, lend ideas, and, be useful to whatever you got going on, but I'm not going to be misused. Not at all. Not at all. This isn't exploitation. It's field recognition. You're in training, that they're in training to you. You don't burn yourself out providing anything. You simply walk and they feel safer doing the same. Set boundaries, clear boundaries as you move and as you, embody, and as you continue just to be in a space where because it's all about self-care and being, conscious of you. How do you pour into yourself for if you're going to do things for others, or if you're going to be in a space where you have a lot of people and they're going to be asking things of you? How do you pour into yourself to be able to be ready for those situations? So understanding that you, it doesn't matter, or it's very important that you always, to me at least, always check on you. How are you doing? How are you good? And what do you need to do to understand? Is my body telling me something? My body telling me I need to rest. I feel like I want to do X, Y, and Z, but is my body good? Do I feel like I can handle this? If not, how do I get in the space? I may still need to do it, but how do I get myself, how do I pour back in myself? To me, I think that's one of the keys, being able to pour back in yourself to better carry this and better do this in a harmonious way. Because you get tired, you get frustrated, or you feel you should have done something for yourself and you keep doing stuff for others. That's just going to frustrate you more. So let's land this. I carry the power now, not the kind that fixes, but the kind that frees. I step as one whose shadow prays. I build without burden. I walk with kinetic grace. You are not just a witness to grace anymore. You are its vessel. So as we sit with that, as we understand how powerful we are, understand sometimes you really need to be, or just all times, you really just need to, in my opinion, we just need to understand that I don't have to, just understand, and I'm not going to say that I don't have to, do this or that just understand your power. And anything that you do, say, or think, once you start to embody who you are and being your more authentic self, that how you move, how you operate carries a lot of weight. And let that sink in, and let that be important to you, to care about how you leave situations. Do you leave them in shambles just because you can, or do you uplift and, allow peace to be, whatever the outcome can be. And then sometimes you may not better leave as peaceful. You may have to leave as, you agree to disagree, or find that space for you. It's good. That's why it's important to know who you are. And that's why it's important to better move with clarity. So to the next episode, I appreciate y'all being here, building. Y'all have a great rest of the week and continue just to grow and expand. Ashe.